In the vast expanse of the galaxy, the Galactic Empire stretched over countless star systems, its power felt in every corner of known space. Among its many ambitions, one goal stood out: to expand its influence and resources. It was during a routine report that Commander Zarin, a young but ambitious officer, first heard of Earth. The Empire's intelligence unit had gathered intriguing data about this small blue planet. It was rich in resources and had developed technologies that could be beneficial for the Empire's expansion. Zarin's eyes sparkled with excitement as he reviewed the information. This Earth, he thought, could be a treasure trove for us. Zarin was not just an officer. He was a rising star in the Empire. He had earned respect for his strategic mind and determination. Yet he also carried a sense of arrogance that often clouded his judgment. He believed that with the right approach, Earth would bend to the Empire's will. Eager to present his findings, Zarin called for a meeting with the High Council. The council chamber was grand, adorned with holographic displays of the Empire's dominion. As Zarin entered, the council members regarded him with a mix of curiosity and skepticism. They had heard of Earth's primitive ways and were unsure if it was worth the effort. Esteemed members of the council, Zarin began, his voice steady, I have analyzed our intelligence reports on Earth. This planet possesses vast resources and advanced technology. With our superior might, we can easily bring them under our control. A murmur of interest swept through the room. The council was intrigued, but also cautious. One elder member, High Chancellor Orcs, raised an eyebrow. And you believe they will surrender willingly, Commander? Zarin nodded confidently. Humans are not as united as we are. They have their own conflicts and struggles. We can offer them protection and the benefits of the Empire in exchange for their resources. Orcs leaned back in his chair, considering Zarin's words. Very well. You will lead the mission. But remember, if you fail, the consequences will be severe. With that, Zarin left the chamber, his mind racing with possibilities. He envisioned Earth under the Empire's banner, its resources flowing into their fleet. Yet beneath his ambition lay a sense of doubt. Could humans be as easily manipulated as he believed? Meanwhile, on Earth, a different kind of meeting was taking place. General Carter, a seasoned military leader, gathered his top advisors in a secure facility. They were discussing unusual signals and reports that hinted at foreign interest in their planet. As the team reviewed the data, a young analyst named Mia raised her hand. General, I've been tracking communications from the stars. There's talk of a powerful empire looking to expand its territory. They have their sights set on Earth. Carter's brow furrowed. What do we know about them? Mia pulled up a holographic display showing the Galactic Empire's reach. They control numerous planets and have advanced technologies. If they come here, we could be in serious trouble. Carter exchanged glances with his advisors. We need to prepare. Whatever their intentions, we cannot let them take our resources or sovereignty. As the meeting progressed, the urgency grew. Earth had its share of problems: political divisions, environmental issues, and economic struggles. But now they faced a new, formidable threat. The Council decided to enhance Earth's defenses and gather intelligence on the potential invaders. Back in the Empire's flagship, Zarin and his team began preparations for their mission. He felt confident, believing that Earth would welcome them with open arms. We'll offer them a deal they can't refuse, he assured his officers. They'll see the advantages of being part of a greater empire. As the flagship entered hyperspace, Zarin studied the maps of Earth. He marveled at its blue oceans and green lands, imagining how easily it could be transformed to serve the Empire. He believed the mission would be quick and decisive, a testament to his capabilities. The ship finally emerged from hyperspace, revealing the beauty of Earth in the distance. Zarin's heart raced with excitement. Prepare the landing party, he ordered, his voice firm. We will make contact with Earth and negotiate our terms. On Earth, alarms rang out as detection systems picked up the Empire's ships. General Carter and his team were alerted to the presence of an unknown spacecraft entering their atmosphere. "Mobilize the forces," Carter commanded, his voice steady. "We need to assess the situation. Whatever they want, we will not let them take it." As the military scrambled to prepare defenses, Zaren's ship descended towards a designated landing zone. The Imperial officers felt a mix of anticipation and superiority, convinced they would dominate the negotiations. However, as Zaren stepped onto Earth's surface, he noticed the armed forces waiting for them. The humans were not as helpless as he had imagined. They stood their ground, ready to defend their home. Zaren adjusted his uniform and approached the human representatives. "We come in peace," he announced, attempting to project confidence. "We are here to discuss a partnership that could benefit both our worlds." General Carter stepped forward, eyes narrowed. "Your kind of partnership usually comes at a cost. What do you want from us?" Zaren's smile faltered. He had expected submission, not resistance. "We seek resources and technology. In exchange, we can offer you protection from external threats." Carter remained unimpressed. "We don't need your protection. We can take care of ourselves." Zaren's frustration grew. The humans were not the naive beings he had anticipated. He had underestimated their resolve. This meeting was not going as planned, and the challenges ahead would be greater than he had imagined. As the standoff continued, Zaren felt the weight of his mission pressing down on him. This was just the beginning, and he had no idea how fiercely Earth would fight to protect itself. The Galactic Empire's ambition was about to face an unexpected challenge, one that would test their might against the indomitable spirit of humanity. On Earth, the atmosphere was thick with tension as General Carter and his team gathered in the war room. The holographic display illuminated their faces, showcasing a map of their military assets and the incoming alien spacecraft. Officers whispered among themselves, unsure of what to expect. Carter stood at the center, his face stern. "We've intercepted a message from the Galactic Empire. They want resources and technology, but we cannot allow them to take what is ours." He paused, scanning the room. "We must be ready for anything." A young analyst named Mia, still fresh from the academy, spoke up. "General, their ships are significantly more advanced than ours. We need to enhance our defenses quickly. Our technology is impressive, but we can't underestimate their firepower." Carter nodded. "I want every available unit on standby. We'll set up a perimeter around their landing site. No one enters without my approval." He turned to his second-in-command, Colonel Davis. "Gather the best scientists and engineers. We need to reinforce our weaponry and defense systems." As preparations began, the tension in the room transformed into determination. Scientists and soldiers alike knew that they were facing an unprecedented threat. Meanwhile, Zaren and his team were preparing for the next stage of their mission. Back on the Imperial ship, Zaren reviewed the intelligence gathered about Earth. He scrolled through data on Earth's technology and resources. Despite his confidence, a nagging feeling crept into his mind. Could they truly bend Earth to their will? "Commander," one of his officers said, interrupting his thoughts, "we should initiate a show of force. It will remind them of our power." Zaren hesitated. "That could provoke them. We need to establish a diplomatic front first. We don't want to escalate tensions unnecessarily." As Zaren pondered his next move, General Carter's team worked tirelessly. They modified defense systems, installed new anti-aircraft batteries, and upgraded existing weaponry. Scientists collaborated to create new strategies that could counter the Empire's advanced technology. "We need to exploit our strengths," Carter instructed during a strategy meeting. "Human ingenuity and adaptability have always been our greatest assets. Let's use that to our advantage." Mia proposed an idea. "What if we develop a technology that can disrupt their communication systems? If we can isolate their ships, they'll be vulnerable." Carter considered the plan. "That's a solid approach. Get the scientists on it immediately. We need to keep them off balance." Days turned into nights as both sides prepared for the inevitable confrontation. Zarin became frustrated at the lack of progress. His envoy had failed to sway the humans, and he could sense their growing resolve. As Zarin paced the flagship's command center, he was approached by his trusted officer, Lieutenant Aaron. "Commander, I suggest we take a more aggressive approach. If we show them our might, they may reconsider their position." Zarin shook his head. "No, we need to be strategic. The Empire does not thrive on unnecessary violence. We must win them over, if we can." Meanwhile, Carter's team continued to innovate. They developed a prototype device that could jam incoming communications and disrupt targeting systems. The project was risky, but they believed it could turn the tide if the Empire decided to attack. Finally, the day of the confrontation arrived. As Zarin prepared to address the humans once more, he gathered his team on the flagship. "This is our chance to establish a foothold on Earth. Remember, we must remain calm and diplomatic." As the Imperial envoy descended onto Earth, General Carter stood at the forefront of the military operations. He had assembled his top commanders to ensure a united front against the aliens. "Stay alert," he instructed. "If they make any aggressive moves, we respond immediately." The moment Zarin's ship landed, the atmosphere crackled with tension. He stepped out, flanked by his officers, ready to negotiate. However, the sight of armed soldiers waiting for them gave him pause. Humans were not as easily intimidated as he had hoped. Carter approached Zarin, maintaining a stoic demeanor. "We meet again, Commander. I hope you come in peace this time." Zarin's smile faltered slightly. "General Carter, I assure you, our intentions remain diplomatic. We only wish to discuss our terms." The two leaders faced each other, each weighing their next words carefully. "Your empire seeks resources," Carter stated firmly. "But you must understand, we are not a colony to be taken." Zarin felt the tension between them. "We can offer technology and protection in return for your resources. You would gain strength as part of a larger alliance." Carter's expression hardened. "And what do you think happens when your empire becomes the only source of strength?" "We will be at your mercy." Zarin was taken aback. He had expected resistance, but not this level of defiance. "You underestimate the benefits of joining us. Together, we could achieve great things." Carter shook his head. "The price of joining your empire is too high. We will not submit." As the conversation continued, the tension grew. Zarin realized that he had underestimated the humans' resolve. They were united and prepared to fight for their freedom. The commander struggled to maintain his composure, knowing that he had to find a way to negotiate without escalating to violence. Suddenly, the ground trembled as the first wave of human defense systems activated. Anti-aircraft batteries fired warning shots into the sky, signaling that Earth was prepared to protect itself. Zarin's officers exchanged worried glances, and Zarin himself felt a jolt of anxiety. He had expected resistance, but now the stakes were even higher. The humans would not back down easily. "We need to rethink our approach," Zarin said, frustration creeping into his voice. "They are not the weaklings we thought they were." Carter, sensing Zarin's uncertainty, pressed on. "You have one chance to leave this planet in peace, Commander. If you continue this path, you will face the full force of humanity." With that, the tension reached a boiling point. Both sides stood poised, ready for whatever might come next. Zarin understood that the Empire's reputation was on the line, but so was Earth's future. The battle of wills had begun, and neither side was willing to back down. The tension in the air was palpable as Zarin and General Carter faced each other, both aware that the fate of their worlds hung in the balance. Zarin took a deep breath, trying to regain his composure. "General," he began, his voice steady yet firm, "we need to find a way to resolve this peacefully. The Galactic Empire does not desire unnecessary conflict." Carter's expression remained resolute. "Then you should understand our position. We will not allow you to take what is ours. We are prepared to defend ourselves." Zarin nodded, recognizing the determination in Carter's eyes. He knew that diplomacy was the only way forward, but he needed to tread carefully. "Perhaps we can come to a mutually beneficial agreement," he suggested. "We can share technology that could advance your military and improve your defenses. In exchange, we seek access to your resources." Carter regarded Zarin with skepticism. "And why should we trust you? Your empire has a history of conquest, not cooperation." Zarin felt the weight of Carter's words. He had anticipated resistance, but this was different. The humans were not afraid. They were defiant. "I understand your distrust, but not all empires seek to conquer. We can provide protection from other threats that may come from beyond your world." "Protection?" Carter scoffed. "You mean domination. If you wanted to protect us, you wouldn't be here demanding resources." As the exchange continued, Zarin realized he needed to change his strategy. "How about this?" he proposed. "Allow me to demonstrate our technology. We can show you our capabilities without any obligation on your part." Carter narrowed his eyes, intrigued but cautious. "And how do we know this isn't a trap?" Zarin held up his hands in a gesture of peace. "I assure you, General, it is not. We wish to prove our intentions. You will have full control over the demonstration." After a moment of consideration, Carter nodded reluctantly. "Fine, but any sign of treachery, and we will respond with full force." As the agreement was made, Zarin felt a glimmer of hope. If he could impress the humans with the Empire's technology, perhaps he could win them over. He quickly organized a demonstration, inviting Carter and his top advisors to witness. Meanwhile, back in the Human Command Center, Carter and his team prepared for the demonstration. Mia was analyzing the data they had gathered about the Empire's technology, trying to find weaknesses they could exploit. "General, we need to be on high alert. If this is a ruse, we have to be ready to act." Carter agreed. "We will keep our defenses up. If they make any move that seems suspicious, we will not hesitate to retaliate." The day of the demonstration arrived, and both sides gathered at a designated site, an open area surrounded by armed troops. Zarin felt a mix of excitement and apprehension as he prepared to showcase the Empire's technology. He knew this was a pivotal moment. Zarin stepped forward, addressing the gathered crowd. "Thank you for allowing us to present our capabilities. We wish to demonstrate our advanced energy shields." He gestured to a large device that stood ready, humming with energy. As the demonstration began, Zarin activated the device. A shimmering barrier enveloped the area, showcasing the power of the Empire's technology. The humans gasped in awe as they watched the shield withstand blasts from Earth's own weaponry. Carter and his advisors exchanged glances, their expressions a mix of surprise and concern. This technology was impressive, but it raised more questions than answers. Zarin continued. "As you can see, our shields are designed to protect against a variety of threats. Imagine what we could achieve together." Despite the stunning display, Carter remained skeptical. "Impressive, Commander, but this only shows your capacity for defense. It does not change your intentions." Zarin understood. He needed to offer something more substantial. "We can share our energy technology, allowing you to power your cities and military with greater efficiency. Together, we could create a new era of prosperity." Carter's expression softened slightly. "Energy is valuable, but at what cost? We must protect our independence." As the demonstration continued, Zarin felt the weight of his mission bearing down on him. He needed to find a way to convince the humans that they were not enemies. The humans were resilient, and Zarin admired their spirit, but he was also determined to fulfill his duty to the Empire. After the demonstration concluded, Zarin approached Carter. "I understand your concerns, General, but if we can forge a partnership, we could stand against any threats that come our way. The universe is vast, and there are dangers beyond our understanding." Carter regarded Zarin carefully. "And what about our sovereignty? We will not be mere subjects of your empire." Zarin took a moment to think. "We can establish a treaty that respects your autonomy. Earth can remain independent while gaining the benefits of our technology and protection. It's a partnership, not a conquest. As the two leaders negotiated, the tension in the air began to shift. Zaren's sincerity started to show through the imperial facade, and Carter sensed a flicker of hope. Perhaps there was a chance for cooperation after all. Just then, a loud alarm blared, cutting through their conversation. A warning light flashed on Carter's communicator. "General, we have an incoming signal. Another ship is approaching." Carter's heart raced. "What kind of ship?" Mia's voice was urgent. "It appears to be an unidentified vessel, and it's entering our atmosphere fast." Zaren's demeanor changed instantly. "We need to assess the situation. If it's hostile, we must work together to defend Earth." Carter nodded, quickly shifting into action mode. "Get everyone on high alert. We can't let our guard down." As they prepared for the new threat, Zaren felt a surge of urgency. This was a critical moment, not just for Earth, but for the Galactic Empire. The approaching vessel could change everything, and both sides had to unite to face a common enemy. The ground shook as the ship neared, and Zaren and Carter exchanged determined glances. The true test of their alliance was about to begin. They needed to put aside their differences and fight together, or risk losing everything. As the alarm blared, General Carter and Commander Zaren moved swiftly, their focus sharpened by the impending threat. Soldiers scrambled into position, eyes scanning the sky for the approaching vessel. The atmosphere was thick with tension and uncertainty. Carter turned to his team. "We need to know what we're dealing with. Mia, get a visual on that ship. Is it armed?" Mia's fingers danced across her console. "I'm trying, General. It's still too far to identify, but it's definitely descending fast." Zaren's brow furrowed. "If they're entering your atmosphere without prior contact, it could be hostile. We must prepare our defenses." Carter nodded. "Agreed. All units, ready weapons, will need to be on high alert." As the ship drew closer, a dark silhouette became visible against the bright sky. Its design was unlike anything either the humans or the Galactic Empire had ever seen. It was sleek, almost predatory, and an unsettling feeling settled in the pit of Carter's stomach. "Visual confirmed," Mia exclaimed. "It's not registered in any database. We have no information on this vessel." Zaren's expression turned grave. "This could be a rogue faction. The Empire has enemies, and they may want to exploit your world's vulnerability." Carter clenched his jaw. "Then we will not give them the chance. We fight together." The ship landed with a heavy thud, sending vibrations through the ground. Its dark hull glimmered ominously as it settled, and a ramp extended, revealing a group of armored figures. They stepped out, weapons at the ready, their faces obscured by dark helmets. Carter and Zaren stood side by side, determination etched on their faces. "Prepare to engage," Carter ordered, his voice steady. "But hold your fire until we know for sure they intend to attack." The armored figures advanced slowly, their movements calculated and deliberate. Zaren glanced at Carter, sensing the unease between them. "If they are hostile, we need to show strength. Let's coordinate our forces." Carter nodded. "On my command, we'll fire together." As the tension mounted, the leader of the armored group stepped forward, raising a hand in a gesture of peace. "We come in search of resources and allies," a voice crackled through a speaker. "We do not wish to fight." Carter exchanged a wary glance with Zaren. "And who are you?" He shouted back. "You've entered our space uninvited. State your intentions clearly." The leader removed their helmet, revealing a face that was both human and alien, a strange combination of features that made it hard to determine their origin. "I am Commander Kira of the Orion Coalition. We are seeking allies to combat a greater threat, one that aims to conquer both your worlds and the Empire." Zaren narrowed his eyes, intrigued but cautious. "What threat do you speak of?" "The Vorax," Kira replied. "They are ruthless and aim to enslave every species they encounter. We have seen their destruction, and we have come to warn you before it's too late." Carter took a step forward, curiosity piqued. "And why should we trust you?" You approached us with a show of force. Kira's expression softened. We had no choice. The Vorax are ruthless. They destroy entire civilizations in their quest for dominance. We need allies who can help us stand against them. Zarin and Carter exchanged looks, weighing their options. If what you say is true, Carter began, then we may need to unite. But we will not be pawns in your game. Kira nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. We seek an alliance. Together, we can gather resources, share intelligence, and prepare for the coming storm. With a deep breath, Carter gestured for his team to lower their weapons. Very well. But if you betray us, we will respond with full force. Zarin added, we must act quickly. If the Vorax are as dangerous as you claim, we don't have much time. Kira's eyes sparkled with determination. We can set up a joint command center. I have intel on Vorax movements. We must coordinate our efforts. As the three leaders discussed strategies, Mia joined the conversation, her mind racing. If we can gather more information on their fleet, we can prepare an effective defense. We can also create diversion tactics to mislead them. Kira nodded vigorously. Exactly. The Vorax are overconfident. If we can exploit their weaknesses, we stand a chance. As they planned, the atmosphere shifted from tension to collaboration. Each leader brought unique strengths to the table. Carter's military experience, Zarin's technological expertise, and Kira's knowledge of the Vorax created a powerful alliance. Days turned into nights as they worked tirelessly, setting up defenses and gathering intelligence. They developed new strategies, fortifying Earth's defenses while also preparing for possible strikes against the Vorax. Zarin felt a sense of camaraderie grow between the humans and the coalition. He had never expected to find common ground, but facing a shared enemy had created an unbreakable bond. Together, we are stronger, he stated during a briefing. Carter agreed, his confidence growing. Let's make sure the Vorax know they've made a grave mistake by coming here. As the days passed, they monitored the Vorax's movements closely. Reports flooded in, showing that the Vorax were gathering a massive fleet, intent on taking Earth and the Empire. Kira's intel proved invaluable. They planned to strike in 3 days. She warned, urgency in her tone. We must be ready. With the clock ticking, Carter, Zarin, and Kira strategized late into the night. They developed a plan to intercept the Vorax fleet before it reached Earth, setting traps and preparing ambushes. On the eve of the battle, the three leaders stood together, looking out at the stars. This is it, Carter said, determination burning in his eyes. We fight for our homes, our families, and our future. Zarin nodded, his voice steady. For Earth, for the Empire, and for our new allies. Kira raised her fist in solidarity. Together, we will prevail. The Vorax will learn that they cannot take our worlds without a fight. As dawn broke, a sense of hope filled the air. They were ready to face whatever came next, united against a common enemy. The morning sun rose over Earth, casting a golden light across the command center where General Carter, Commander Zarin, and Commander Kira prepared for the imminent battle. The atmosphere buzzed with energy and tension as soldiers from Earth and the Orion coalition worked side by side, readying their weapons and ships. Carter stood at the front, scanning the faces of his team. Today, we face a great threat. The Vorax believe they can take our world without consequence. We will show them they are mistaken. Zarin nodded, his expression serious. We have a plan in place, but we must remain vigilant. The Vorax will not underestimate us again. Kira stepped forward, her voice strong. We have intelligence on their fleet movements. If we can position ourselves correctly, we can take them by surprise. As they discussed their strategies, Mia worked furiously at her console, monitoring the Vorax fleet's approach. General, they're entering our atmosphere now. They're moving faster than we anticipated. Carter's heart raced. All units, prepare for engagement. We can't let them reach our defenses. The sound of alarms echoed through the command center as soldiers took their positions. Zarin activated a holographic display, showing the Vorax fleet on the move. The ships were dark and menacing, gliding through space like shadows ready to engulf the light. "Let's make sure our defenses are set," Carter instructed. "We will not let them breach our perimeter." With a swift command, they deployed their forces, positioning ships strategically to intercept the incoming Vorax. The command center was a flurry of activity as everyone focused on their roles. As the first Vorax ships appeared on the radar, Carter felt a surge of adrenaline. "Now," he shouted, "engage." The air erupted with the roar of engines and the hum of energy weapons as Earth's ships soared into the sky, joined by the sleek vessels of the Orion coalition. The two forces moved in perfect sync, showcasing their newfound alliance. Carter piloted his ship, the Valor *, through the chaos. He watched as his team unleashed a barrage of firepower, striking the Vorax ships with precision. Explosions lit up the sky as the dark vessels began to falter. "General, we have multiple targets ahead," Mia shouted through the comms. "They're regrouping for a counterattack." Carter glanced at Zarin, who was maneuvering his own ship deftly. "We need to break their formation. Kira, what's the status of your fleet?" Kira's voice crackled through the channel. "We're engaging their flanks. If we can keep them distracted, we can cut off their reinforcements." Zarin nodded, formulating a plan. "Let's create a diversion. I'll take my ship to the left while you and Kira hit them from the right. We can catch them off guard." Carter agreed, his heart pounding with determination. "Let's do it." As they executed their plan, the battlefield transformed into a chaotic dance of ships and explosions. The Vorax, realizing they were outmaneuvered, began to lose their cohesion. One by one, they fell under the relentless fire of the united forces. Amidst the chaos, Zarin spotted a larger Vorax ship looming in the distance. "General, that ship appears to be their command vessel. If we can take it down, we may disrupt their entire operation." Carter gripped the controls tightly. "Then that's our target. Let's finish this." With renewed purpose, the three commanders directed their forces toward the command vessel. Zarin led the charge, his ship darting through the debris, while Carter and Kira followed closely behind. They coordinated their firepower, unleashing a volley of energy blasts that struck the hull of the Vorax ship. The Vorax retaliated, their weapons firing in desperate attempts to defend their command ship. The sky lit up with energy beams, but the coalition forces pressed on, determined to end the battle. As they drew closer, Kira's ship took heavy fire. "I need assistance," she called out, her voice strained. Without hesitation, Carter turned his ship toward her, covering her from enemy fire. "Stay with me, Kira. We'll get through this together." Zarin joined the fray, targeting the Vorax ships that threatened Kira. "Focus on the command vessel. We can't let them regroup." Finally, they broke through the defenses of the command ship. With one final concentrated strike, they fired their weapons, hitting the weak points in the Vorax vessel's armor. An explosion rocked the command ship, sending debris flying in every direction. Carter watched as the ship began to crumble under the assault. "We did it," he shouted, adrenaline coursing through his veins. But their victory was short-lived. As the command ship fell, a larger Vorax cruiser emerged from behind the debris, its ominous form dwarfing the other ships. The cruiser was heavily armed and seemed to absorb the chaos around it. Mia's voice came through the comms, alarmed. "General, we have a new threat. That cruiser is massive and armed to the teeth." Carter's heart sank as he realized the battle was far from over. "We need to regroup and reassess our strategy. We can't take on that cruiser alone." Zarin's voice was steady. "Then we need to rally our forces. We must strike together. No one goes in alone." Kira chimed in, her voice filled with resolve. "We can't let fear dictate our actions. This is our chance to show the Vorax that we will not back down." Carter nodded, his determination reigniting. "All right, Let's regroup. We can take them down, but we need to be smart about it. As the coalition forces pulled together, they prepared for one last push against the Vorax cruiser. The sky was filled with smoke and flames, but their spirits remained unbroken. They would fight for their homes, their families, and each other. With a deep breath, Carter led the charge, their ships moving as one. This was the moment they had prepared for, the moment that would define their alliance. Together, they would face the enemy head-on, ready to fight for their future. The atmosphere was charged with determination as General Carter, Commander Zarin, and Commander Kira regrouped their forces. The enormous Vorax cruiser loomed ominously in the sky, its weapons ready to unleash chaos. They all knew this was their moment to turn the tide. Carter gathered his team. "We've fought hard to get here, but the battle isn't over. We need to strike that cruiser's weak points. Kira, what can you tell us about its defenses?" Kira accessed her ship's database, pulling up vital information. The cruiser has strong shields, but they are weakest at the aft section. If we can distract them from the front, we might be able to exploit that weakness. Zarin nodded, his brow furrowed in concentration. "We should split our forces. I can lead a frontal assault to keep their attention, while you and Kira flank from behind." Carter felt a surge of pride at their teamwork. "Let's do it. We move as one. On my mark." As they prepared, soldiers from Earth and the Orion coalition took their positions, ready for what would be the defining battle of their alliance. Ships buzzed around them, engines humming with power, weapons primed for action. Carter counted down in his mind. 3, 2, 1. Now. The coalition forces surged forward, weapons firing in unison. The sky exploded with energy as they engaged the Vorax cruiser head-on. Zarin's ship led the charge, darting through the enemy fire with agility. "Keep your formations tight," Zarin shouted. "Don't let them scatter us." Carter followed closely, his heart racing. They were dodging blasts of energy that lit up the sky like lightning. The roar of explosions surrounded them, and Carter focused on the task at hand, pushing his ship to the limits. As they approached the cruiser, Kira's voice crackled through the comms. "Now flank left. We need to get behind them." Carter veered left, his ship moving with precision. Zarin's attack was drawing fire, keeping the Vorax distracted as Kira and Carter aimed for the cruiser's weak point. Suddenly, the cruiser fired back, its weapons targeting Zarin's ship. "Watch out," Carter shouted, his heart racing. Zarin maneuvered skillfully, narrowly dodging the blast. "Stay focused," Zarin replied, his voice steady. "We can't let up." The coalition forces pressed on, weaving through enemy fire. Kira directed her ship closer to the cruiser's rear, preparing for the final assault. "Now, Carter. This is our chance." Carter aligned his ship with the cruiser's weak spot. He felt the tension in his fingers as he pressed the trigger, unleashing a volley of energy blasts. The impact was immediate. Sparks flew as the cruiser's shields flickered. Kira followed suit, her ship firing alongside Carter's. "Keep it up. We're breaking through." As the explosions lit up the sky, the cruiser began to shudder. The coalition forces were gaining ground, but the Vorax were not going down without a fight. They retaliated fiercely, directing their fire at Carter and Kira. "Get ready to maneuver," Kira warned. "We need to pull back and regroup." Carter's heart raced as he executed a sharp turn, narrowly avoiding incoming fire. "We need to take out their engines. If we disable them, they won't be able to escape." Zarin's voice came through the comms, filled with urgency. "I'm drawing their fire. Focus on those engines." Carter nodded, adrenaline pumping through his veins. "All right, let's make it count." As they repositioned, the coalition forces regrouped for another coordinated attack. The Vorax cruiser was struggling to maintain its defenses, but it still had plenty of fight left. "Fire at will," Carter commanded, his voice echoing through the comms. The coalition unleashed a barrage of energy blasts, targeting the cruiser's engines. The sky was a chaotic mix of colors, each explosion lighting up the battlefield. Suddenly, Kira shouted, "Direct hit! Their shields are failing." Carter could feel the momentum shifting. "Keep pushing. We're almost there." As the coalition continued their assault, the cruiser began to tremble. Its powerful engines sputtered, sending sparks flying. The Vorax crew scrambled to respond, but it was too late. The coalition was relentless. With a final surge of energy, Carter directed his ship to aim one last time. "This is for Earth," he shouted, squeezing the trigger with all his might. The energy blast hit the cruiser's engine directly, and a massive explosion erupted. The cruiser shuddered violently before breaking apart, debris raining down around them. Cheers erupted over the comms as the coalition forces celebrated their victory. "We did it," Kira shouted, her voice filled with exhilaration. "We took down their command ship." Carter let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. "But it's not over yet. We still have the rest of their fleet to deal with." As the remnants of the Vorax fleet scrambled to regroup, Zaren's voice came through, steady and commanding. "We need to finish this. Let's take out their remaining ships and secure our victory." With renewed determination, the coalition forces launched into action. They split into groups, targeting the Vorax ships still fighting back. Carter, Zaren, and Kira coordinated their efforts, ensuring they covered each other's backs. The battle continued, but with each Vorax ship that fell, the coalition's confidence grew. They were no longer just fighting for survival. They were fighting for their future. Carter's heart swelled with pride as he saw the unity between the two factions. Humans and aliens, side by side, working together for a common goal. They were stronger together, and they were proving it on the battlefield. As the last of the Vorax ships fell, the cheers grew louder. They had done the impossible. They had united to defend their worlds and emerged victorious. "Great job, everyone," Carter exclaimed, a smile breaking across his face. "We showed the Vorax that we will not back down." Zaren added, "This is just the beginning. Together, we can face any threat that comes our way." Kira nodded, her eyes shining with hope. "We've forged a powerful alliance today. We can face the universe together." As they looked out at the remnants of the battlefield, they knew this victory was only the start of a new chapter. With their newfound strength, they would continue to protect their worlds and stand together against any foe. As the echoes of battle faded, the skies above Earth slowly cleared. General Carter stood on the command deck of the Valor *, watching the remnants of the Vorax fleet disappear into the distance. Their victory was hard won, but the cost was clear. The battlefield was littered with debris from both the Coalition and Vorax ships, a stark reminder of the fierce conflict they had just endured. Carter turned to his team, who were gathering around him. Commander Zaren looked exhausted but proud. "We did what we set out to do. The Vorax won't threaten us again anytime soon." Commander Kira joined them, her face flushed with adrenaline. "We lost some good ships today, but we also gained valuable allies. The Orion coalition proved their strength." Carter nodded, feeling a mix of pride and sorrow. "We need to honor those we lost. They fought bravely for our future." As they began to assess the damage, Mia approached with a solemn expression. "General, we need to discuss our next steps. The Vorax may have retreated, but they won't give up easily." Carter sighed, knowing she was right. "We need to reinforce our defenses and strengthen our alliance with the Orion coalition. We can't let our guard down." Zaren stepped forward. "I propose we establish a joint command center. It would allow us to coordinate our forces better and respond quickly to any new threats." Kira agreed, her eyes shining with determination. "We should also hold a ceremony to honor the fallen. It will help unite our people and remind them of what we fought for." Carter smiled at his team's spirit. "Let's do it. We will show everyone that our alliance is strong, and together, we will face whatever comes next." As they finalized their plans, a communication came through from the Orion coalition. Admiral Theros, their leader, appeared on the screen, his expression serious but proud. "General Carter, we commend your bravery and skill in battle. Together, we achieved the impossible." Carter straightened, feeling a swell of pride. "Thank you, Admiral. Your forces fought valiantly alongside us. We couldn't have done it without your support." Theros nodded. "In light of our victory, I propose a summit to discuss the future of our alliance. We must prepare for the potential retaliation from the Vorax." Carter's mind raced with possibilities. "Absolutely. We need to ensure our defenses are solid and strategize for the future." As the summit was planned, the coalition forces began to salvage what they could from the battlefield. Engineers and technicians worked tirelessly to recover materials from the wreckage, eager to rebuild and improve their fleets. Days passed, and the atmosphere on Earth shifted from one of tension to hope. The Joint Command Center was established, allowing for seamless communication and collaboration between Earth and the Orion Coalition. Soldiers from both factions trained together, sharing knowledge and tactics that strengthened their bonds. Finally, the day of the memorial arrived. Citizens from Earth and the Orion Coalition gathered in a large arena, a symbol of unity in the heart of the capital. Banners hung from the walls, depicting the symbols of both worlds intertwined. Carter stood at the front, his heart heavy as he addressed the crowd. "Today, we honor the brave souls who fought for our freedom. They gave their lives to protect our future, and we must never forget their sacrifice." The crowd was silent, the weight of loss palpable in the air. Families of the fallen stood together, their faces a mix of sorrow and pride. As Carter continued, he felt the unity of the people around him. "Together, we have forged a powerful alliance. The Vorax thought they could divide us, but they were wrong. We stand stronger than ever. Today, we vow to protect each other and ensure that such a conflict never happens again." As he finished, the crowd erupted into applause. Zarin and Kira stood beside him, their expressions resolute. They had all become part of something much larger than themselves. After the ceremony, the leaders of the coalition gathered for the summit. In a large conference room, they discussed strategies, intelligence sharing, and plans for future collaborations. Admiral Theros began, "We must remain vigilant. The Vorax will not rest until they reclaim their lost power. Our combined strength is our greatest asset." Zarin leaned forward, his brow furrowed in thought. "We need to focus on intelligence. If we can monitor Vorax movements, we can preempt their attacks." Kira added, "And we should establish a rapid response team, ready to act at a moment's notice. We can't afford to be caught off guard again." Carter felt the urgency in their words. "Agreed. We must prepare for any potential threats. Together, we will train our forces to respond swiftly and effectively." As the summit continued, plans took shape. They discussed technological advancements, sharing their research and innovations. The Orion Coalition had developed new propulsion systems that could enhance Earth's ships, while Earth had advanced weaponry that could benefit the Coalition. Days turned into weeks, and the bond between Earth and the Orion Coalition deepened. Joint training exercises became routine, and the camaraderie among the soldiers grew. They shared meals, stories, and laughter, united by a common purpose. However, in the shadows, the Vorax were plotting their revenge. Their leadership met in secret, furious over their defeat. The Vorax commander, a towering figure with a fierce reputation, slammed his fist on the table. "We will not let this humiliation stand. We must prepare to strike back against these so-called allies." Whispers of a new plan began to circulate among the Vorax leaders, their eyes filled with anger and determination. The alliance between Earth and the Orion Coalition would face its greatest test yet. Back on Earth, Carter sensed a shift in the air. The alliance felt strong, but he couldn't shake the feeling that a storm was brewing. As they continued their preparations, he vowed to stay vigilant, ready to protect everything they had fought for. The Joint Command Center buzzed with activity as General Carter, Commander Zarin and Commander Kira reviewed the latest reports. The mood was tense, with everyone aware that the Vorax were plotting their next move. Carter stared at the screen filled with data, his mind racing. "We've increased patrols in the surrounding sectors," Zarin said, breaking the silence. "But the Vorax have been unusually quiet. It worries me." Kira nodded in agreement. "They're planning something. We need to remain vigilant. Their silence could be the calm before the storm." Carter crossed his arms, thinking hard. "We can't afford to be complacent. Let's increase reconnaissance missions and keep a close eye on any unusual activity." The team immediately sprang into action, delegating tasks and preparing for their next moves. As they worked, a sense of urgency filled the air. They were determined to protect their newfound alliance, knowing that the Vorax would stop at nothing to reclaim their lost power. Days turned into weeks, and the coalition forces continued their training and preparations. Soldiers exchanged tactics and techniques, growing stronger with each passing day. Yet the unease remained. Carter could feel it deep in his bones. They were on the brink of another confrontation. One evening, as the sun set and painted the sky in shades of orange and purple, Carter gathered his team for a briefing. "I want us all to stay on high alert. I feel like we're close to a major engagement. We must be ready to react at a moment's notice." Zarin looked at him, determination in his eyes. "We've trained hard for this. We won't let our guard down." Kira added, "We've forged a bond that makes us stronger. We're not just fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for each other." Just as they finished their meeting, an urgent alert sounded through the command center. The screen lit up with reports of multiple Vorax ships entering the solar system. "Here we go," Carter said, his heart racing. "Activate all defenses. We need to prepare for a possible attack." As they scrambled to their stations, the coalition forces quickly mobilized. Alarms blared as soldiers rushed to their ships, readying themselves for battle. The tension was palpable, and every soldier felt the weight of what was at stake. Carter and his team took their positions on the bridge of the Valor *. "Status report," he barked. A technician quickly responded. "Multiple Vorax ships detected at the edge of our solar system. They're moving fast, and it looks like they're targeting Earth. Send out a warning to all coalition forces." Kira commanded. "We need to assemble and prepare for defense." As the coalition ships lined up alongside Earth's defenses, Carter felt a mix of fear and resolve. They were outnumbered, but they were not without their strengths. "We'll use the element of surprise," Zarin said, his voice steady. "Let's draw them in close, then hit them with everything we've got." Carter nodded, appreciating Zarin's tactical mind. "Let's do it. All ships, prepare for engagement." As the Vorax fleet approached, Carter could see their ships glinting in the fading sunlight. The sight of them ignited a fire in his heart. They were here to challenge everything they had built. "Here they come," Kira shouted, her eyes focused on the screen. "All hands, battle stations." The moment of truth had arrived. The Vorax ships surged forward, their weapons primed and ready. Carter felt the adrenaline coursing through him as he took a deep breath. "Fire," he commanded, and the coalition unleashed a torrent of energy blasts toward the approaching fleet. Explosions lit up the sky as the two forces clashed. Carter maneuvered the Valor *, dodging enemy fire and targeting Vorax ships with precision. The bridge shook as they took hits, but the crew remained resolute. "We're holding our ground," Zarin shouted, directing the Allied forces. "Keep up the fire. We can't let them breach our defenses." Kira coordinated with the other ships, ensuring they supported one another. "Focus on their lead ships. We can break their formation." As the battle raged on, it became clear that the Vorax were relentless. They fought with a fierce intensity, determined to reclaim their dominance. Carter could see the chaos unfolding outside, ships darting and exploding, but they couldn't afford to give in. "Reinforcements are on the way," Kira reported, her voice steady amid the chaos. "The Orion coalition is sending backup." Carter felt a surge of hope. We can turn the tide. Just hold on a little longer. As the fight continued, the Vorax commander, furious at the resistance, ordered a full assault on Earth's surface. Destroy their cities. Show them the price of defiance. Carter's heart sank at the thought of innocent lives in danger. We can't let that happen, he shouted. We need to protect our home. The coalition forces rallied together, focusing their fire on the Vorax ships that threatened Earth. They fought with everything they had, driven by a fierce desire to protect their worlds. Target their command ship, Zarin ordered. If we can take it down, we can break their will. Carter maneuvered the Valor closer to the Vorax command ship, adrenaline fueling his every action. This is it. Let's finish this. They unleashed a concentrated blast aimed directly at the command ship. The energy beam struck true, and the ship erupted in a brilliant explosion, sending shockwaves through the battlefield. With their command ship destroyed, the Vorax began to falter. The remaining ships hesitated, their formations breaking. This confusion set in. Now's our chance, Kira shouted. Press the attack. The coalition forces surged forward, taking advantage of the Vorax's disarray. One by one, they dismantled the remaining ships, ensuring that their message was clear: they would not back down. As the last Vorax ship fell, a deafening cheer erupted from the coalition forces. They had stood together against a powerful enemy and emerged victorious once again. Carter breathed a sigh of relief, looking at his team. We did it. We protected our home and our people. Zarin smiled, his face beaming with pride. This is the power of our alliance. We're stronger together. Kira added, let's celebrate this victory, but remain prepared. The Vorax may not be finished yet. As they gathered to assess the damage and honor their fallen comrades, Carter felt a renewed sense of hope. They had faced the storm and come out stronger on the other side. Together, they would continue to protect their worlds, standing united against any challenges that lay ahead.